Hello and welcome to the Voice of Todd. I'm Tom, and today I want to talk about a film that I really enjoy. It's called Mute. It's by Duncan Jones. Let's get into it. So this film is Duncan Jones's fourth feature film, I believe. His first, Moon, is actually in the same universe. This is it's not really a sequel, but it shares some connective tissue with Moon. He's also done Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal and the World of Warcraft film. Both of those films I quite enjoy. Source Code is an incredible sci-fi flick. Absolutely love Source Code. I haven't seen Moon, to my shame. It is on my list. But Mute is directed by Duncan Jones, as we've said. It's written by Duncan and Michael Robert Johnson. It was done with Netflix, so it is available on Netflix across their entire platform, I believe. The film stars Alexander Skarsgård as Leo, Zainab Salah as Nadira, Paul Rudd as Cactus Bill, and Justin Theroux as Duck. We'll touch on some of the cameos and people that show up in this as well. As I touched on, this film is set in the same universe as Moon. It's also set in the same universe as Maddie, Once Upon a Time in the Future, which is a soon-to-be-released graphic novel that Duncan has penned with artwork from many, many artists across the comic book world. Mainly, though, it's Duncan and it's Alex DeCampi who have put all this together. My copy is on the way. It should be hopefully here soon. Partly why I wanted to watch Mute, just to get me in the vibe. But let's jump into the synopsis, and then I'll go over my thoughts on why you should try it. It's the story of Leo, who after a horrific boat accident is left mute as his Amish parents will refuse the surgery to fix his voice box. He's now fully grown and he works in pretty much a dive bar run by a local mobster tycoon with his girlfriend Nadira. Nadira goes missing and he goes out to look for her. This takes him through the criminal empire of their boss. He meets quite a few unsavoury characters in his search and comes across lots of things that he didn't know about the woman he's looking for. Leo's our eyes in this world, and the near future city of Berlin that we find ourselves in is just beautiful. There's so much going on, it's full of life, it's just crazy, but it feels so alive. And there's just people everywhere you look. There's people on corners, there's people talking, there's noise. It just feels like a real city. And as I say, it's very Night City from Cyberpunk 2077. It also makes me think, and a lot of the shots, especially with the flying cars, and as I say, it's near future, there's a lot of tech in this. The flying cars, it really makes me think of Blade Runner's Los Angeles. And I'm a huge Blade Runner fan, so this I think that's why this works for me, because of the pacing and the noir nature to this. It has Blade Runner tinges, and that's what I loved about it. But Leo he's a shy, thoughtful soul. He's a keen woodworker. He keeps himself to himself. It's clear that he loves Nadira. The scenes that they are together, you can just see it. He's Alexander Skarsgård, obviously playing Mute. He can only use his face to act and express how he's feeling. This is the best that I've seen Skarsgård. Every emotion is just portrayed perfectly in his face, and he really draws you in. And he's a handsome chap, but you can't take your eyes off him because of how he's portraying the character. Just brilliant. He really shows how good of an actor he is in this. Nadira, she's really just trying to find a place in the world. She's trying to make a bit of money so that she can get out of the city that she feels trapped in. She does have a big secret hanging over her. Cactus Bill, he's an AWOL US Marine. I think he was a surgeon in the army. He's now hiding out with his young daughter Josie. He's working for the mob, the same sort of mob connections that really sort of running the underground in Berlin. He just wants to get papers for him and his daughter and get out of the city. There is a bounty on his head that the US Army has placed on AWOL Marines. It is touched on in one of the vids in this, the news vids, that there is a lot of US Marines AWOL, and he really just, he's looking out for himself. Paul Rudd's amazing in everything, but in this he's next level. He's an absolute jerk, but he's lovable and he's hilarious. I don't know what it is, but Duncan's direction really seems to have a way of getting the best out of people. And we've got an amazing performance from Skarsgård. We've got an amazing performance from Rudd here as well. I think it's not my favourite Paul Rudd role because of the character that he's playing, but it's very engaging, and it is the best I've seen Paul Rudd act. We also have Duck, who is played by Justin Theroux. He's a former US Marine. He isn't AWOL, he served his time, but he's Cactus Bill's partner in crime, really. He runs a cybernetics clinic to help children walk again, and he's a pretty good surgeon himself. He's obviously learned his craft in the military. He does have some very dark secrets, though, hiding just below the surface of his easy exterior. Justin, again, in this is fantastic. The chemistry between him and Rudd, just incredible. They really drive this film for me. The two of them, just when they're on screen, they light it up. There's so much going on between them. It's great. They really do work well together. I've touched on the vision of Berlin, but the way that technology is used, it's everywhere. There's flying cars, there's fast food delivery drones flying around everywhere, holographic billboards, posters. Like I said, it just feels, you jump maybe 40 years into the future, it's how you would see a city, how you would imagine a city. It just fits perfectly. It's very dark and gritty. The script is very well done, I think. The dialogue is well written, but there's a lot of emotion running through this film. Obviously Leo's trying to find his girl and he's cut up about that, but as you get deeper into it and what's going on and the mysteries that are lying around in this, it really pulls you in. But there's a very, very strong sense of darkness just on the edges. You can't quite see it, but you can tell that there's things going on that you don't want to be part of. It is a true noir mystery thriller. Again, I think that's why I love it. Having grown up with Blade Runner, this really just fits nicely with that. It's tough to make a world that feels as live as Ridley Scott did in Blade Runner, and Duncan Jones has done that here. This was a passion project for Duncan Jones. He's obviously put a lot of time and effort into the script over the years, and I think he did great. It came out in 2018. As I say, it was done with Netflix. I watched it when it first came out, if not the first day, then the first week. I loved it then, and I was on the edge of my seat watching it again this week. Just because even though I know what's going to happen, I'm just drawn in. I just want to have a little note for whoever did the wardrobe in this. The wardrobe choices are excellent, and Paul Rudd is dressed amazingly, and his facial hair it's an interesting choice. A couple of honourable mentions. There is quite a few guest stars in this that pop up, people that you'll know. Noel Clarke and Robert Kaczynski play a duo of mid-level criminals. They're two very good British actors who you'll have seen in quite a few different things. Robert Sheehan, obviously, again on Netflix with The Umbrella Academy. He is full energy in this. He's great. He has quite a few outfit changes as well, some surprising. Yeah, he's fantastic in this. Dominic Monaghan, who was Merry in Lord of the Rings, and Lost he was in, and many other things. You might not recognise him, but he is like you've never seen him before. A really nice little cameo. And as I've mentioned, the connection to Moon, Sam Rockwell does appear in a news vid, nice little cameo as his Moon character Sam Bell, and this is set after Moon, so there is that continuation there as well. But I love this film. It's the kind of film that I want to sit in the back of a cinema with and just enjoy for 2 hours, just in the dark with the big screen, the sounds. It did come out on Netflix, and I understand why, and I understand this kind of film isn't really being picked up by the studios who just want the next superhero sequel. But this deserves a bigger screen release, I feel. It's very dark, it's very disturbing. It's a great little sci-fi film. It does feel like it does its own thing. It certainly doesn't pull any punches, and it goes places that do make you feel uncomfortable. It is a slow burner. It probably won't grab you for the first half an hour, but when it gets into it, it really gets going, I think. And as I've said, the performances of the cast are just incredible in this, and the world itself is well worth a view, just to experience the world that has been created here. I do think that this film isn't for everyone. If you're not a fan of the noir genre, if you're not really into sci-fi, this probably isn't for you. I find it hugely engaging, and I think it's worth a try for anyone, but it, as I say, it is definitely not for everyone. But it's a very good film, and I wanted to tell you all about it because I'm excited for Maddie, the graphic novel that is the sequel to this, or it's in the same universe. I really want to get that in my hands and read it, and it's probably not something that I'll review for the channel. That's not really where I want to go. I'm not a big graphic novel guy, but I think that will be quite a special one, and everything that Duncan Jones does I find really enjoyable, and I really need to get a copy of Moon and get that watched. But thank you very much for joining. I'll see you in the next one.